Dear friends, have you ever wondered about these three most important questions of life? What is the right time to act? Who is the right person to listen to? And what is the right thing to do now? A century ago, Leo Tolstoy, one of the greatest writers born in the history of mankind, wrote a short story known as Three Questions. And the story goes like this. There once lived a king, very powerful but also very wise. The king was deeply tormented by these three questions of life. He was looking out for the answers, but he was not getting them. So he made an announcement in his kingdom that whoever gave correct answers to these three questions, he would be handsomely rewarded. Hearing the announcement, men and women from across the kingdom flocked to his palace. They gave all sorts of answers, but the king was not convinced. The king was deeply disappointed. The king then decided to go to a forest where a hermit lived who was well known for his great intellect and wisdom. But there was a catch. The hermit received only the common folk, and so the king disguised himself as a common man, went to the cell of the hermit in the forest, while his bodyguards waited outside. The hermit was digging beds. He looked at the king and greeted the king. The king asked him his three questions, but the hermit did not respond, and he kept on digging the flower bed. As an act of generosity, the king took pity of the hermit, who was very frail and weak, and took the spade from his hands and started digging himself. After he had dug 2 beds, he asked his questions again, but this time too the hermit did not respond. Suddenly a voice erupted out of the woods, a voice in deep pain, and a man came running out with his hands pressed against his stomach and blood dripping down. He stumbled before the king and fell on the ground. The man had a deep wound in his stomach, and he was screaming. The king pitied him and bandaged and rebandaged him till he revived and till the blood stopped flowing. After a while, the king also offered him water. Soon the night fell on the forest. Having got exhausted, the 3 men, the hermit, the king, and the wounded man, fell into deep sleep. The next day, the wounded man came to the king, and he made a sincere and deep apology to the king. The king was very astonished and asked him, "Why are you making an apology to me? You have not done anything wrong. You have not done any mistake." And then the wounded man, revealed the secrets. And then the wounded man said that he had come to the forest to kill the king. But his bodyguards saw him and injured him. He wanted to kill the king because the king had executed his brother, and he wanted to take revenge on the king. The king, having heard this, was deeply shocked. But the king was also very happy to know that he has converted an enemy into a friend. And that was indeed a very great achievement. Before leaving for his kingdom, the king went to the hermit and asked him his 3 questions for the last time. The hermit looked at him and laughed at him and said, "You have already got the answers. Why are you asking the same question again?" And the king was very astonished. The king asked him how. And then the hermit said to him something, and here it goes. The hermit said, "Dear king, when you came to my cell and saw me digging the beds, you took pity of me and helped me in digging the beds. That was the right thing to do. That was the great thing to do. That was a very generous act of yours. And at that time, I was the right person to listen to. And the right time was also that time when you stayed in my cell and did not go to the forest. Because had you left me and went to the forest, the wounded man would have killed you and you would have lost your life. And when you helped the wounded man and revived him, that was the right thing to do and also the right time. Because had you not done so, the wounded man would have lost his life and you would not have made peace with him. And indeed, at that time, the wounded man was the right person to listen to." And then the hermit further concluded, "Dear king, the right time in life is right now, because this is the time when you have full control over the things. The right person to listen to is the person who is with you at this particular moment. And doing good to this person is the most important thing in your life, because for this purpose alone and this purpose alone, you are sent on this planet." Dear friends, do you agree with the answers given to these 3 questions of life by the hermit? What do you think? Please comment. Thanks a lot.